Hello and welcome everybody to this third lecture of this complete Python series. In this video lectures, in this series, what we are studying is Python. We are studying it from basic to advanced. So as I've already told you, there is no prerequisite. If you are comfortable and if you want to learn something new like programming, if you find it exciting, please you can start it at start this video lecture from, but please watch it from the first lecture, because from the first lecture I have explained a lot of things like what is programming, why are we using this, what is Python, and all that. In the second lecture, we have also learned about a lot of things like comments and all. And this is the third video lecture series. In this, we will be learning about. Uh, in this video lecture series, we will be learning about few exciting new things. I also hope that you guys are practicing a lot. You are practicing some questions. Uh, if you want to know where you can get questions, you can what you can do is search questions for some specific topics right now, because you cannot solve questions on like mixed topics. So what you need to do is go on ChatGPT, tell the name of the topic, and you can fetch a lot of questions based on those topics. Okay, so as the more you practice, the more comfortable you will get in this programming, because programming requires a lot of practice. So the more you will practice, the more you will get confident. And also I would recommend you to solve hacker rank or hacker earth right now. Do not go on leaked code, because those questions you are right now you won't be able to solve those questions. So what my recommendation is to if you want to solve some structured, yeah, or yeah, and the questions that require that so that you can keep a record to that as well, so that then you can choose hacker rank. Because right now you won't be able to solve lead code, to be honest, because those questions require some DSA knowledge and all. So that is my suggestion. So we will be starting this lecture. Before the start of this lecture, I would recommend to make notes and all notes if you if you want to, but it is not necessary, because the more you practice, the more you will be able to learn. You won't be even opening the notes later on when you know this. Okay, so first we will be seeing the learning objectives of this video. So the learning objectives are like by the end of this lecture, you will be able to understand what operators are. So what are operators? We will be going to learn about them because they're important. We will be using them a lot in our programming journey, from uh, basic to advanced. A lot of questions are well, everywhere. Most of the places you will be using operators. Okay, then we will be performing some mathematical calculations using those operators. Then we will be comparing some values using those operators. How we will be comparing? You will be able to know this later on this lecture. We will be using some logical conditions, water conditions. We will be studying that as well. We will be understanding some assignment operators. Okay, then we will be learning. We will be learning about learn identity and membership operators. And sorry, we will be learning about identity and membership operators. Okay, then we will also learn about bitwise operators. So before jumping into these subtopics, we will be discussing what are operators. So operators are symbols that perform an operations on one or more operands. So first let me tell you what are operators. So like this here you can see there's a plus sign here. This plus or addition is an operator, is a symbol. Why do we use it? To add two numbers. This is an operator, and those two numbers where this operation is being carried out are known as operands. So plus is an operator, and 10 and 5 are operands on which we are performing some operations. Okay, so 10 and 5 are operands, and uh, uh, plus is an operator. Okay, so here what will be the output, which is 10 plus 5 is 15. So Operators are nothing but some symbol which we have designed, or which we are using in this language, so that, and you don't need and mind you, I would like to tell you that every programming language has same kind of operators. If you learn the operators in Python, you will be able to use these kind of operators in every programming language, in most of the programming language. Okay, so we are clear now what operators are. Operators are symbols through which we carry out some operations on operands. Okay, so now what are the types of operators in Python? Python has several types of operators. These operators are used for some specific operations. Different operators have different kind of functions. So these operators are arithmetic operator, used for arithmetic operations. Assignment operator, which we use to assign some variable. We have learned this in about this in second lecture, I guess, where we were assigning some value to the variables. What are variables? Variables are the name of some specific memory locations. Okay, then we will be learning, then there is a comparison operator. Comparison operators are those operators through which we compare some values, like there, suppose there are two operands 10 and 5, and now we want to compare them. We can use any comparison method, like greater than, smaller than, anything. So these kind of operators are used to used for comparison. Then there are logical operators. Logical operators are like and or not. You will be learning about these things. What are these things? Okay, then identity operators, membership operators, and bitwise operators. Bitwise operators is a little complex. We will be discussing them in little more detail, and we will be solving a lot more questions on bitwise operators, because the bitwise operators are used to perform operations on bits. What are bits? Uh, Bits are some. We will be doing operations on these bitwise operators. Hello, hello, hello. So before moving on, I would like to tell you one more thing, which is statements. What are statements and expressions? So here you can see this a plus b. This a plus b here is an expression. Okay, and where this sum equals to a plus b, this whole is called as a statement. So this sum equal to a plus b is a statement, and a plus b alone, just a plus b, is called expression. Okay, so you need to keep this in mind as well. So now we will be moving on with another operator, which is uh, used for subtraction. Okay, so let us move on. Just a minute. Which is subtraction. So when we have to subtract two numbers, we use this operator, which is a subtraction operator. Okay, so how do we use it? The same way, right? I wrote here sum equals to a plus b. If I do sub, sorry, sub equals to a minus b. Okay, now if I print, let me comment this out. Okay, so if I want to print this, I'll be doing this and sub. Okay, now I'm going to run this code. I'm entering a as a 9, suppose, and b as 6. Okay, the output is 3. If I again run this and enter a as 5 and b as 9, I'm getting -4. So no matter what is the sign of the integer, you will get if you using this. Okay, now let us move on to another operator which is used for multiplication. Okay, this asterisk is used for multiplication. It is okay. So now we will be using this the similar way. Sub, I'm creating another variable mul. Okay, A equals to A into B. Okay, this what it will do is this will multiply A and B. Got it? So if I print now mul, sorry, if I print mul now, I am entering 7, 9, 63 is the output. If I'm entering 5, V is 0, output is 0. Okay, so simple. Now we will be moving on to another, which is division. Division, this case is a little interesting because even if we enter some integer, the output will always be float value. Okay, let me show you. Div equals to A divided by B. Div equals to A, sorry, I will return this. So I'm just gonna print this, which is I will be writing div. Okay, now if I'm running this and it will be asking, sorry, let me kill this. Okay, I'm running this code. I'm entering A as 5. This is an integer. B as 8, which is also an integer. But output here is 0.625. Suppose I'm writing this A as 8 and B as 2. Output should be 4, but what we get is 4.0. Because whenever we uh, use division operator, what it does is the output will always be in float. Okay, so if you want to what you if you do not want this, what you can do is use float division. Okay, so what float division is, it rejects the decimal part of the output. So it does, what it does is, let me show you. Sorry, floor equals to a a by b. Okay, now if I'm going to print this, I'm going to run this. Okay, so what will happen is, I'm going to enter the same digit, which is 8 and 2. What is going to happen? Now I'm getting 4. Now if suppose I am entering this like first number is 2, second number is 8, then what I will get as an output is 0. Why? Because it should be something 0.625 like that. But what happens here is, the output, in the output we only get the integer part. The decimal part is neglected. We do not get that part in this float division. Okay, you need to keep this in mind, because some questions only require the integer part and some other require some precision value. So we need to know all of these things. Okay, now we will be discussing about modulus. So what modulus does is, it gives out remainder only. So when we use modulus, we will be getting remainder part only. Okay, let me show you this. MOD a modulo, sorry, a modulo b. Now if I am going to print this, okay, let me just remove all this. Print mod, I'm going to use this. So what I'm getting as an output here is, sorry, I'm going to enter first value as, suppose, 20, second value is 3. What I'm going to get as an output is 2. Why? When we divide 2 by 20 by 3, the remainder is 2. So that is going to be our output. So, and if I enter something like, suppose, 36, sorry, second number is 6, so the output here will be 0. Why is it going to be 0? Because when we divide 36 by 6, the remainder is always 0. So that is going to be our output. Okay. Now the last arithmetic operator we will be discussing is exponent. Okay, let me remove all this. What is the use of exponent? When we need something like 2 to the power 5 or 7 to the power 9, these kind of output if we need require, we use exponent. Okay, so let me show you this. How is it done? Exp, I am naming a variable which is exp, and now I am doing is a double asterisk b. Okay, now if I am going to print this, what's going to happen is exp. So now if I'm going to run this, I will be getting 5 and 2, the square of 5, which is 25. Here I'm getting 25. Okay, now if I'm going to run 6 to the power 0, what I'm going to get is 1. And suppose what you need right now is just a minute. Here what you can see, when I entered 0.5, what happened is it is giving me an error. Okay, which is value error, because it needs an integer value. So you need to keep this in mind. We will be needing only integer value. But if I do this, now if I'm going to enter, what I am getting right now is 4.0. So what is happening right now is I am getting uh, the square root of 16. So whenever I need square root, if I if I write something like 5 to the power 0.5, what I will get is square root of the specific number. Okay, so if I write 16 to the power 0.5, I will be getting the square root of that number. So here I am getting the square root. Okay, so now moving on, we will be discussing some questions. Okay, we will be discussing these questions. Let me just a minute. So we will be discussing some questions. Here are the questions. 20 plus 15. So I would like you to solve these questions on your own. So, and let me tell you one more thing before solving. If I do not create these variables, even then if I do not create a variable, third variable like sum and all, then even then I can print these things like perform these calculations such as a plus b. If I want to do this right now, it is completely valid, so you won't get any errors like, as for example, here I am running this, I am entering 20 and second value is 15, the output is 35. Okay, so why here output is 35? Because I took here float value. So when I add integer and float, the output will always be float. Okay, if I multiply integer with float, output will be float. If I multiply integer with integer, the output will be integer, and add integer with integer, the output will be integer. Okay, so let us just solve some questions. Like, let us just solve all these questions. First one is 20 plus 15. Okay, so what we will doing is print 25 plus 15. I'm going to run this and see what is the output. Is it correct or not? Yes, it is correct, which is 25 plus 15 is 40. This is the correct output. Now let us move on to the second question, which is 60 minus 18. Sorry, 60 minus 18. Okay, so print I want you to do this side by side with me, so that you can also practice these questions. I know it is very simple right now, but please solve this even if it is simple, because the more you practice, the more your hand will feel the keyboard, and more you will be comfortable with the questions later on. Okay, so our question is 60 minus 18. Okay, now I'm going to run this. The output is 42. Okay, so we need to keep this in mind. Even if we do not create a variable, why were we creating variable? Because we had to take input. Okay, so right now we don't need to take input, so we can just directly print this, use print statement, uh, and perform these operations directly on these two operands. Okay, even if we want to create some variable, we can create that. Like suppose I'm creating, I will be doing this with by creating a variable 15 into 12. We need to do, sorry, 15 into 12. I'm creating a, which is 15, b, which is 12, and I'm printing this a into b. What will be the output? Let us see, which is 180. Is it correct? Yes, it is completely correct, because 15 into 12 is 180. Okay, so please keep this in mind. You don't necessarily need to create some variables. We create variables for the readability and for consistency. If you do not want to create variable, it is good, but I would suggest, while we calculate, while we write code, we need us to follow some standard, and so that even if there's some other programmer who is like looking into our code, he can understand it very easily. Okay, so that's what we need to focus on. If we focus on this from very start, later on it won't be very difficult. Even in the naming, right now I'm naming this a and b. So but if what if some we need to create like take some input as marks and all. Okay, so what I want you to solve right now is, I'm giving you a question. Write a program, ask asking user to enter their date of birth and calculate age. Okay, so I want you to solve this question. Please, what you need, please pause this video and try to solve this question on your own. You can take reference as the current year as 2026. If you want, if you are watching it in 2026, or if you are watching in some other year, so take that year as like final or current year. Okay, I hope you have solved this question. Now let us see what is the solution of this question. Okay, so I will be creating a variable which is called DOB, which is date of birth. Okay, so we have the variable which is date of birth. So I'm taking this from input from the user. I'm will be prompting him to write enter your birth year. Okay, I'm I wrote this. Now what I will be doing is age. I'm creating a new variable which is age. Why I'm creating this? For readability. Even if I write this code, and you later on, even if I do not tell you what this code is meant for, you will, if you see this code, you will be able to understand at least why this code is written, and why is this, what is the use of these specific variables. Okay, so if I'm writing age, and I need to perform some operations to calculate the age. What are the operation? Which is I will be subtracting the birth year from 2026. So what I am doing is 2026, sorry, 6 minus what I'm minusing, like subtracting, which is DOB. Okay, so I'm going to just in the next line write the print statement. print statement, then age. Okay, what we are printing is age. So let me just write it in a specific way. Okay, sorry. Age is, I'm going to run this statement and I'm going to enter the year. Suppose the year is 2009. Suppose it is. So right now the age is 17. Okay. So suppose I'm entering some another year. Suppose I'm writing 2020. So the output I'm going to get is 6. Okay. So we have solved this question. Now we will be solving another very interesting question. In this question, what I want you to do is write a program uh, to Tom asking the user for what we can do in this question is we can ask the user for the price of the price of the commodity, and we can apply the discount on it. Okay, use or we can use ask the user for the salary and calculate the tax, which suppose which is 10% of their salary. Okay, which is 10%. I want you to solve this question. Please solve this question. Pause this video and solve this question first. I hope that you have solved this question. So we will be looking into its solution. Okay, so what I am going to do is create a variable called salary. What I will be, so in this salary I will be taking the input as a float value, because salary can be in float value. So float input, giving the instructions as enter your salary. Okay, in the next line I'm creating another variable which is called tax. Okay, so in this text what I'm going to do is apply the calculate 10% of the salary, and going to tell him that this is the specific amount of tax that you need to pay. So for calculating tax, what I'm going to do is calculate percentage. Okay, so how are we going to calculate percentage? For that we need to suppose like 10% of something is if we want to calculate 10% of something, we can just multiply it by 0.1. So if I multiply salary from 0.1, I am going to get the 10% of it, which is our tax in this case. So in the next line I'm going to print your net payable taxes tax. Okay, I'm going to run this code. Suppose the salary is 50,000, 100,000, 10,000. Entering this, the net payable tax is 5,000. So if he is earning 50,000, he need to pay 5,000 as a tax to the government. Okay, cool. Shall we move ahead? Before moving ahead, I would like to. Okay, so let's move ahead. Let's move on to some other topic. I want you to, before moving on to other topic, please calculate these questions, solve these questions on your own. I want you to solve these things, please. Okay, so now let us move on to another topic, which is called assignment operators. Okay, so we will be discussing about what are assignment operators. we will be discussing assignment operator. So what are assignment operator? Assignment operator is a fundamental programming symbol which is used to store a value in a variable. So in the previous videos I've already showed you how can we what is a variable and how can we store some values in it. So what assignment operator used for? Assignment operator is used to store the values in the variable. Okay, so what it does is it takes the value that is to be stored in the right side and copies it into the location where it need to be stored in the left side. Okay, so here are the assignment operators. Okay, where equal to is used for assignment, where suppose I am going to, like here, suppose if I write a equals to 78, so what happens is this 78 which is in right side is used here. This equal to this assignment operator, what it does is copies this and store it in the value, it in the place where in the memory location which is named a here. Okay, so this 78 is stored in the variable a. Okay, so in the same way here, plus equals to is like this. What it does is, suppose I have written a equal to 78. Now in the next line, what if I write a plus, plus a plus equals to 5? So what will happen is, I'm going to show it to you. If I'm going to print this, now I'm going to print a. If I'm going to print a, what is happening is the value of a is incrementing by 5, has increased by 5. Why? Because this, what happens is here is when I write a equals to 78, 70 is stored, but when in the next line I'm writing a plus equals to 5, what happens is this 5 is incremented to that stored value. Okay, so the value of a has been updated in the next line due to this statement. Okay, now which is now subtract and assign. The subtract and assign is works similar to add and assign, where in the, the only difference is that in the add and assign we were adding this 5. If I write minus equals to 5 and print this, the 5 number 5 will be decreased from this stored value. Okay, like here the output is 73, so 5 is subtracted first from 78, then that is stored there. Okay, so now in the next line which is multiply and assign, similar working. Like if I write this here, like, so what will happen is 78 is first stored, but in the next line what will happen is a will be multiplied 5 times and that thing will be stored there. Okay, so 78 times 5 will be the output. Let me make it simple, like 12 12 times 5 is, 5 times 12 is 60, so the output here is 60. This is the work, this is the working. Now there's divide and assign. Okay, like here this is another operator which is divide and assign, and modulo and assign. This is nothing but combinations of two operators. Okay, this divide and assign, what it does is it just divides the value, like a is first stored, like 10 is first stored in a. Now if in the next line if I write a slash divide assign 5, the output will be 2, because the value that will be stored in 2, a will be 2.0. Okay, and you need to keep this in mind that this is this thing, whatever we have done, like a plus equal to is nothing but a equals to a plus 5. Similarly, a equals to is nothing but a equals to a into 5. Okay, so these things are same. Similarly, there is modulo and assign. So modulo and assign, I am doing this like 2 2 and 4, the output will be 2. This is the output. So I hope that you understood this. What it is like, first is assignment operator, which is equal to, and others are the combinations of the operators that we have studied before, which is as arithmetic operators, and the assignment operator, the first assignment operator, which is assign. Okay, the combination of these two are, the rest of the operators are just the combination of these two. Okay, so now we'll be solving some questions. These question I have already discussed these questions before. If you want to solve, you can solve more on this topic. Now we will be discussing comparison operator. So what is comparison operator used for? Comparison operator is used to compare two values. So when we compare two values, so the output will always be in the form of true or false, like in Boolean. Why is it? Like, suppose we are comparing 5 and 7. If I compare 5 and 7, what I am going to say is 5 greater than 7? The answer will be either true or false. Okay, in the same way, here, like, 5 is smaller than 7, so output will be false. 5 is not greater than 7. Okay, so this comparison operator, the output will always be either true or false. Like uh, here are some of the assignment operator. This equal to, like, in mathematics, when we write 5 equals to 5 equals to 5.0, or like something like, look, if I write, if I do something like this, if I have to compare b equals to, if I take input from the user, I'm taking input from the user, b is as input from the user. Now if I have to compare, is a and b equal, like, are a and b equal to each other? So what I'm going to use is this equal to. If this equal to is true, then is used for equality comparison. So if these two are equal, the output will be true. If not, the output will be false. Sorry. I'm going to run this. I'm going to enter 10. Sorry, the output here is true. As you can see, the output is true. So this is used for equality comparison. If the two values are equal, the output will be true. If they are not equal, the output will be false. Like, if I enter, suppose if I enter 7, the output will be false. Why? Because 10 and 7 are not equal to each other. The next comparison operator is not equal to. This is equal to. The first one was, this one was equal to this one. Now this is not equal to. This exclamation mark is not, and this is equal to means opposite of equal. Okay, suppose if I write not equal to, now what I'm going to get out as an output is, if the entered value is also 10, then the output will be false. If the entered value is not 10, the output will be true. Like, if I'm going to enter 10, the output is false. Why is it false? Because 10 is not equal to 10. Well, 10 means 10 and 10 are equal, so we cannot say 10 is not equal to 10, because 10 will always be equal to 10. Now if I'm going to enter some other number except 10, if I'm going to enter 6, the output will be true. Why? Because 6 is not equal to 10. Okay, this is just opposite of equal to. Then the next operator is greater than. Similar to mathematics, why is it used? To compare if the two values are smaller or greater than each other. If I write if a is greater than b, the output will be, what will be the output? Output will depend upon the entered value. So if I enter the value as 5, so 10 is greater than 5. With 10, a is 10, b is 5, so output will be true. Now if I enter, 90, the output will be false. Why? Because 10 is smaller than 90. Now if I enter 10, what will happen? Why I'm getting false? Because 10 is equal to 10, not greater than 10. So A, which is also, it is 10, and B, which is also 10, cannot be greater than or smaller. They should they are equal. They the relation between them is equality, not like a greater than or equal smaller than kind of relation. Okay, the next operator is smaller than. Why is it used? To check if two numbers the same kind of relation with, as greater than. When I write like here, like smaller than. Okay, now if I'm going to run this, what will happen is, if I'm going to enter, suppose 5 is 5. So is A smaller than B? First, what happens is the interpreter checks A smaller than B, and then it gives us the answer, the output that we have asked it to give us to give. Okay, so in this case, 10 is not smaller than 5, so the output is false. But if I enter, suppose 14 is greater, so the output is true. So now let us move on to the next operator, which is greater than equal to and smaller than equal to. Similar working, but it is just also the combination of two operators. How? Okay, let me tell you this. If I write greater equal to, what happens is, now what is it going to check? If it is going to check if A is greater than B. If it is true, it will give us true. And if A is equal to B, so either A should be greater or A should be equal to B. If any of these conditions match, then the output will be true, else the output will be false. Now let us check. Now if I'm going to enter 5, the output is true. Why? Because 10 is greater than 5. Now if I'm going to enter 10, now here output is true because 10 is equals to 10. Now if I'm going to run and check the output, 11, I'm going to check, the output is false because 10 is not greater than or equal to 11. In the same way, if I just change this sign, like if I just write this here, what will happen? What will happen is, it will check the same thing but in opposite manner. Like first it was checking if A is greater than B or equal to B. Now it will be checking if A is smaller than B or equal to B. If any of these condition matches, the output is true. Okay, so 5 I'm going to enter, output is false because 10 is not smaller than 5 or equal to 5. Now if I'm going to rerun this and enter, what I'm going to enter is 67. The output is going to be true. Why? Because 10 is smaller than 67. Got it? I hope you are getting this. So now we will be moving on to the next operator, which is logical operators. What are logical operators? Logical operators are used to combine multiple conditions. Okay, so let me show you the truth table of this logical operator. So here, if we get something like, there are two variables we have created, like here there are two variables. First is A, another variable is B. These are two variables. Now if first, like if A is true and B is also true, B is also true, then the result will be true. Means A and B, if both of them are true, the result is true. If any of them is false, the result will be false. Like here, in this case, A is true, but like in this case, A is true, but B is false. B is false. So what our output is? Our output here is false. So what we need here is both of the values should be true, otherwise should be true, else the output will be false. Now let me show you in a code format how is it going to work. Okay, uh, let me create this like 11, c equals to 10 plus 5, in d, no, I'm not going to create any thing like d. Now if I'm going to check this, like if I'm going to print something like this, okay, so first condition that I'm going to check is if a is smaller than b. If a is smaller than b, then if I write and, sorry, and should be smaller, okay, small in small letter. If I'm going to write a and then I write if c is greater than b. Now what will happen is, if it will check, if a is first, it will check if a is greater than, is smaller than b. If a is really smaller than b, then it is true, and then it will check the second condition, which is c is greater than b. If these two conditions match, if these two conditions are true, the output will be true. Like in this case, these two conditions are uh, sorry, in this case these two conditions are true, so output that we should get is true. So just a minute, just a minute, just a minute. Yes, the if I'm going to run this, the output is true. Okay, so here what happens is that if a is 10, b is 11, so a is smaller than b, true. But and also c is also greater than b. These both of these conditions are true, the output is true. But if I change this condition a little bit, if I write c is smaller than b, if I write this, now only one condition is true, which is a is smaller than b, and c is, since c is greater than b, so c should not be, like c cannot be smaller than b. So if I'm going to run this, what I'm going to get is false. Here we have understood that if both these conditions are true, if both these conditions are true, the output that we will get is true. If any of the conditions are false, any of the conditions is false, then the output that we will be going to get is false. Now if both of the conditions are false, what will happen? What if both the conditions are false? Let's check. The output is going to be false. So what right now what it needs is, if we want to get a true output as true, we need both of the conditions to be true. If any of them is false, the output is false. If we want the output to be false, we can just make sure that any one condition is false, or both of them can be false as well. Okay, now let us move on to the next logical operator, which is and, sorry, which is or just like in and, we needed both of them to be, true. But in or, we need any one of them to be true. If first is true and second is false, then the output is going to be true as well. Here, like in this example, if the input a is true, input b is true, the output is that we are getting is true. Okay, but the input, but if the input is true, a is true and b is true, still the output is true. But if both of them are false, if though both of them are false, there a is false and b is as well is false, the output here we are getting here is false as well. Okay, so let us check this, the code. I'm going to write this for, just going to check this condition. I'm going to run this. Why is, and I'm going to get false. Why I'm getting false? Because a is smaller than b and c is also greater than b. Both of the conditions are false currently. So if I am going to re rewrite this and add and write the correct conditions. Now if I'm going to run this, what I'm going to get is true, because what we need is any of them should be true. So since a is smaller than b, the output is true. Okay, if I'm going to if I write both of them as true conditions, correct condition, then the output is still going to be true. Okay, so in OR what we need is any of the true conditions. The third logical operator is not. What not is? The opposite. What it does is opposite of the any condition. So if I write a and b, sorry, if I'm going to run this, since b is smaller than, so b is greater than a, so I'm going to get output is the output as true. So but if I write not, what it will will happen is it will flip the result. If the output is true, the output will become false. If the output is false, the output will become true. So currently the output was true. Now if I'm going to run this, the output will be false. And if I change the condition to false, and now if I'm going to, if I run this, then the output that we will get is true. So what it does is it flips the answer, like output. If it is true, we will get as false. If it is if the condition is true, the output will be false. If the condition is false, the output will be true. Okay, it just gives the output as the flip of the condition. Now we will be discussing identity operators. Identity operator, why we will be discussing what is identity operators? Identity operators are used to check whether the two variables refers to the same object. Okay, suppose a and t is equal to 10, b is equal to 10. If I'm going to write a is b, it is also going to give us output in true or false. So let us check what is it giving. A is b. Since a is 10 and b is also 10, the output that we are getting right now is true. Now if I write a is 10 and b is as 11, the output we will get is false. Okay, now if I do this, a equal to b equal to 10, if I'm going to run this, the output that we will get is true. Okay, so is like it's used to check, is used to check whether a and b are referring to the same object or same thing. Now if I write is not, what it will do is it will flip the result. So it will check if a is not a member of b. So if a and b are not equal, or sorry, if a and b are not pointing to the same object, then the output will be true. So if I write b as 11, the output will be true. Now if I change this to 10, the output will again, the output that I will get is false. So this is the like thing that we need to do. Okay, so now we will move on to the next operator, which is membership operator. So what is membership operator and why is it used? So membership operator is used to check whether value exists in a sequence or not. So it is like here. So I'm not going to explain it in like little more detail, because it needs knowledge of string, which we do not know right now. So suppose there's something called fruit. This is a list of fruit. Now if I want to check if this exists in this or not, like apple exists in this, not, if it exists, the output that I'll get is the output that I will get is true. If it does not exist in this, the output that I will get is false. Like let me show you an example. Let me show you in an example. Okay, just a minute. Huh? is suppose hello, and B is H. Okay, so now we are going to run this. So first you need to know about this, like a equal to hello is a string. So right now we don't know about it, so just do not feel burdened. We will be discussing about what string is in detail. So right now you just need to keep this in mind, that string is nothing but string of characters, like collection of characters. You can just sequence of characters, you could it is. So you can keep this thing in mind right now. Okay, now if I'm going to run this, so what I'm getting is as false. So let me so we will be we are getting false. Oh sorry, we are getting false because I just flipped this. So what we need to write is B in A. So it what it will check is if this B, which is H, exists in A, which is a string hello. So since H exists in hello, so it is going to get us true. Now if I write, instead of capital H, if I write small h, it will give us false because capital and small h are not same thing. Okay, so if I write h0, we will get false. Why? Because it will check these like combinations of this like whole B. If I write he and check this, it will get us true. Why? Because he as a whole exists in this. Okay, so this is the like use of membership operator. If I write not, it will give us the opposite of this. It will give us false. Why? Because he exists in hello, so it will give us the opposite of true, which is false. Okay, so moving on to the next operator, which is bitwise operator. Bitwise operator is used on bits, like what bits are the smallest unit of data in computer, and so we use bitwise operators on this, on bits. Okay, so how do we use it? Let me show you. uh, these are some of the bitwise operators. We will not be discussing in this in very detail, but I am going to show it to you. Like this is and, or, not. These are like left shift, right shift. We will be discussing about this in later on in the series. Right now we are just going to discuss very it in very uh, brief. These are some of the bitwise operators. Okay, so now we will be discussing about operators precedence. Operators precedence is like what is the order of execution of the operators. So you what you can do is you can go on to the Google. We are going to Google and we will searching precedence in Python. We will be searching this. You can open any website. Right now I'm opening W3 School. It here is the table. So what my suggestion is, you do not need to remember this table. Just yes, you need to remember this table, but you do not have to wrote this like remember this by right now. You will gradually learn this by practicing. Okay, so what is operators precedence is like whenever a lot of operators are used in a single line of code, what will be the priority of the executions of those operators, that is called operators precedence. So if there's like exponent, so this will be executed first before the highest priority is given to the parenthesis, then it is given to the exponents, then it is given to the assign, like add and assign, subtract and assign and all. then multiplication, division, and all. The least important is given to OR. Okay, so you need to remember this. Okay, so now we will be going to end this lecture. I want you to create a calculator using I want you to create the calculator using the concept that we have learned today. If you are not able to create it, do not worry. We will be creating this as a project in the later on. But if you want to, if you can, you please try to create a calculator where we will be taking input from the user, like two numbers, and then we will be performing some calculations based on that. Okay. So summary of the lecture today: we learned about operators, which are arithmetic operator, assignment operator, comparison operators, logical, identity, and all. We learned about all these operators and the operators precedence. Okay, I hope you have understood what I have taught today. Okay, so what I need you to do is practice more. And talking about bitwise operator, we will be discussing this in little more detail in the upcoming lectures. So right now you need knowledge about these things right now, because for bitwise operator we need to learn about binary and all. So we will be discussing about this in the later part of the later lectures that we will come. Okay, so thanks for watching the video. And I have already told you, if you feel lost or think that things are difficult right now, do not feel lost, because we will be learning about everything in a detailed manner. That's why I did not teach you by bitwise, because the lecture is already past like 1 hour now, and we need a little more time to discuss them. So we will be discussing that in some other lecture. Okay, so thank you for watching the video. I hope you liked it. If you like this video, please like and subscribe to my channel. Okay, thank you.